right, guys. Well, happy Monday. Thanks for joining me today. And my name is Paul Jacinto, and today's topic is going to cover the domain of product management and how AI could be leveraged to improve the management of our products and our teams. So the idea of leveraging AI across our value streams is the general topic. And as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a short presentation on how we plan to leverage AI, and specifically training an open AI model to create virtual advisors. So this is like the high level topic, and this is part of a series. This is the first in the series, and we'll set up a subsequent series when we have the product launched and live and ready to go. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so are there any questions before we get going? All right, cool. So, Chat GPT and AI, it's been in the news in the last, 6 months. So, all the companies that I've been interfacing with are scrambling to leverage open AI and Chat GPT. And, at a higher level, what I'm seeing in the field is this desire for companies to, leverage some of that neural linguistic programming and that chatbot response within their workflows. So what that means in terms of product management is, leveraging AI to amplify our ability to strategize, execute, design, and overall, including AI in the product vision. And just to contextualize things, I wanted to provide maybe a really high-level snapshot of the last, 10 years in terms of the evolution of AI. So, in terms of, 12 years ago, AI was a very kind of like niche expertise. So in terms of integrating AI onto the teams, you probably weren't working very closely with a data scientist. You'd probably work more with a business analyst or someone with deep data engineering or analytics capabilities. But as we've been progressing, I'm seeing more and more companies hire data scientists to augment their data engineering teams. So it's interesting, if you look at the history of Chat GPT and OpenAI, they actually started in 2015. And, if you cross-reference that year with this graph, from 2015 onwards, you're seeing an advent of companies creating AI-centric products. And probably Chat GPT is the most famous of those AI-driven, AI-first products. But let me pause here. What do you guys think in terms of AI in your own workspaces or plans to leverage machine learning? Does anyone have anything in their work experience they want to call out?
Yeah. When I was in RTE, we were developing a AI to intercept PCI from customer calls and mask it from call center agents so they can't see it, because AT&T had a call center in the Philippines that they were stealing credit card numbers. So they got fined. So we came up with the AI to do it. And by the way, if you didn't read it on LinkedIn today, Google Bard's AI passed the Scrum Master test.
Well, yeah, that's I saw that flash. I didn't really dig into it, but yeah, I'm gonna double back on that article later today. So yeah, that's interesting. I think ChatGPT could pass the bar exam and the exam to get into medical school.
They could probably pass the SPC test too.
Yeah, I don't have any. No, I don't doubt that at all, because all that information is all out on the internet to be parsed. But okay, cool, Kevin. Anyone else with a related story?
Yeah, definitely. I work in the hospitality domain. It's the same like as like that for the call center and CRO, those kind of applications. So AI is the big time this year. So, and again, we're just exploring ChatGPT and the Microsoft's the Copilot. Yeah, just exploring and doing some kind of innovation activities.
So yeah, it's already disruptive. So yeah, that's amazing. So things like Copilot and just the ability to train your own custom models with OpenAI is, what I'm noticing.
And I surprised there will be some of the roles like robotics, robot engineer, a robot manager, things like that. So Copilot is a kind of treated as a robot, and there may be different roles that might come up with AI. So
yeah, that's this idea of augmenting leadership roles is we're seeing that in the field, and that's the kind of model we want to train at IBC as well.
Okay.
So Kritika, how's it going? Did you have any thoughts?
Actually, nothing to contribute on what's going on, because in our space, I'm not experiencing anything with AI at the moment. I'm at the VA Federal Service Center. But the question that I was wondering about, what is and maybe this is a dumb question, how is RPA, the robotic processing automation, and the AI different from each other?
It depends on the context. So are you talking about like a physical robot that can lift and do work for people, or are you talking about general automation?
The general automation that folks started doing in our spaces, like IT work mostly. Some of the work that was repetitive, we trained we wrote a SQL and started doing, running those processes with RPA. Let me think of an example. If the filling the forms or something that's repetitive, and you verify something and it's the same answer every time, send out the updated same response. That's kind of an example of RPA.
Yeah, I kind of, if we're looking at this timeline, that capability has been around for 10, 15 years. If I had to stick it on this timeline, I would say that became more and more common like around the mid 2015s and onward. And what separates RPA from machine learning, like modern machine learning applications, is AI has the ability to give you predictive suggestions. So you train these models and they become knowledgeable against the domain you train it against. And so you could train a model like ChatGPT to give you human-like responses, building on those models, in addition to its ability to understand text, can really give you that very human-like interaction when you're interfacing with it. So to me, they're not competing technologies, or there's a continuum with how you use AI and machine learning. So I think I put things like RPA and test automation and the ability to things like autocomplete. That is a very crude version of what ChatGPT can do really, really well. Mm-hmm. So think of ChatGPT and modern AI as like the next evolution of things like RPA and things like autocomplete.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good call out. Anyone else have anything to add to that? That's a really good topic. Really good question too.
Oh, I have a question. How the AI, on the SAFe6, like the scaled agile framework, how that is going to help in AI evolution? So that's what we're going to, is there anything in the process wise that will help for the AI innovations?
Yeah, Scaled Agile is definitely looking into it. So if you go to their website today, they've got a few expert articles on machine learning, AI, and how to incorporate that into your product development. So I think right now they're taking a step back and waiting for the marketplace to coalesce against certain AI patterns before they augment the framework. But it's definitely on their radar.
Okay.
Along those lines. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
Yeah, along those lines. That's so that was something I was very curious about, even looking into to start to look into developing something. I'll start with a question. Can you not see though with ChatGPT, can you not see down the road, some sort of replacement to this visual framework with a ChatGPT kind of advisor or so that could sort of augment or replace a lot of the articles and things that describe the framework
I think,
can you not see that?
I don't see it. I don't see it replacing it because, again, like these models, they're not context aware. They only know the information or the data you've trained it against.
Right.
So,
well, what if I train it
I think it will
train it on all the articles, for example, and the framework?
Oh yeah, if you do that, I think it'll be a very useful way to learn Scaled Agile, and you can use that bot or virtual. We're going to call it a virtual advisor at that point to actually manage a product or manage a project. So yeah, actually, your original question: do I foresee things like ChatGPT, replacing knowledge or information authorities like Scaled Agile? I'll say, Scaled Agile is going to continue to evolve, but if the model has been trained against their knowledge base, it's going to be a very helpful, very helpful entity to actually use to manage your product.
Okay.
So, and that's the trend I'm seeing, and that's what the virtual advisor we want to build at IBC is kind of geared towards that. We want to amplify, not replace the roles of Scrum Master, product owner, and leadership in general. So this is going to make everybody more efficient, and it's going to amplify what a company can do given their current staffing levels.
Okay.
So, okay, great questions, guys. I wanted to provide a slide with some rough dates or years of the various algorithms and machine learning techniques. So, yeah, this is just for reference, but I thought it was interesting. A lot of this research in AI and machine learning, started in the 40s, and what kept it from being used in industry is the computing power. So now that the computing power is there to leverage these the building of these complex neural networks and other techniques, it's just now we're able to leverage all the research that was done 60, 70 years ago. But
can I add something?
But if you think, oh yeah, definitely.
Well, so I actually was studying AI for my college degree, back in the 80s or so, and was looking for a job with the degree. It was cognitive science, but it really was AI. And then I was looking for a job in the 80s, in the low 80s or so, given what I've learned, and I couldn't find a darn thing in AI, and that's because, as you were saying, with all of this growth and evolving of AI and things, the hardware wasn't there, as you said, and then the hype was really there, but when they started trying to build applications or commercialize it, it just wasn't there hardware, and so eventually the hype about all AI and everything kind of died down. And I think that was around maybe late 86, maybe 89 or so. when it just completely disappeared for a long time, and now it's back up. So just wanted to say that. And the other thing, in looking at your graph, I don't see natural language. Some of the components of AI, natural language, computer vision. These were studies.
Yeah, it was hard to squeeze it in. Yeah, NLP definitely.
Okay.
I think that's worth putting on here because of ChatGPT.
Okay.
But as a quick side note, my college advisor, he had his PhD in artificial intelligence. He basically told me he couldn't find work in like corporate space, so he went down the academic route.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. The other one is, computer vision, natural language. I don't see that, or it's hidden. But the other big one was, expert systems, I guess, or expert systems.
Yeah, those are good call outs. I'll try to squeeze those in.
I would add those. Yeah, they were huge initiatives within AI that began a while back, as you're saying there.
Yeah, good call out. Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for those anecdotes. That
Absolutely
really helps. So yeah, let's keep it going here. This is like not a representative list at all. This is just a few ways or opportunities that are coming in the future. But look at this first one here: generating alpha and returns. So it's kind of like a natural thing for investment banks and portfolio managers to want to leverage AI to consume a lot of this unstructured data to make predictions about investing and portfolio management. Outside of that, we've got leveraging AI to improve content distribution. I think that's an interesting thing. Especially in the world of social media and how we consume content these days. Like before, like 20 years ago, basically the only way you could consume content was like going to the movies or watching linear television. But now with all the streaming channels that you have, I see AI providing a boon to content distribution and consumption as well. And then outside of that, I wanted to list out managing risks and leveraging AI to improve how we manage our operations. So improving operational efficiency is something I'm deeply and very interested in. And the example I selected was, this idea that we could build a domain-specific chatbot to be a virtual assistant for a Scrum Master or product owner. So yeah, definitely leveraging the generative capabilities of OpenAI and NLP to amplify what you can do for the management of a product. Any thoughts here from your personal experience? What opportunities are you guys seeing in the field?
Hey, Paul, I have a question though first. It's okay.
Oh yeah, sure thing. Yeah.
With regards to managing risk, right? The compliance and legal aspect. What do we currently see right now in terms of what kind of algorithm or approach has been taken to solve that use case?
Well, I'll say, I did some consulting like 6 months ago at a retailer, and they were leveraging all their compliance specs in a tool called Calibra. So I think the way this is going to trickle down to the companies is they're going to be vendors that specialize in building in training these AI models towards compliance. So the pattern is the same no matter what industry you're in. Like what you need is to gather your structured and unstructured data. So whatever compliance rules you want to create a bot for, you gather that data and then you train your model against that data. And so that's still very expert level knowledge. Most people don't have that expertise in-house. So I think how this trickles down into various companies is through the purchasing of a product. Like a vendor like Calibra is going to bake this into their compliance tool sets.
Got it. Thank you.
But yeah, great question.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, working as a project manager for so long before moving into Scaled Agile, that at AT&T, everything's so rigid that you could probably put a bot or AI bot together to actually be a project manager, because if they're so rigid with it, you have no human effect to it, where, oh, you missed your delivery, and that's what the AI would do. It's not going to ask you why you missed your delivery, but you missed your delivery and escalate it. Whereas, that's the way they do it. People have, are going to have meltdowns because someone missed by one day. Yeah.
انا حاطط السماعه في ودني من ساعتها وكانت طالعه شويه الصوت مش طالع وتلاقيني
There we go. So, yeah, that's a good call out, Kevin. I worked at these bigger places too, and so oftentimes the Scrum Master will get drowned out when they're escalating something. So possibly something like an AI virtual assistant could augment his role and help escalate some of these.
Like I said, taking the human element out. Yeah, but taking the human element out, say you have an app that's supposed to deliver something like requirements, but oops, they had a fire drill that something went down and they took all the resources to work on getting the system back up. They're going to miss their date, but if they come back and talk to the project managers, yeah, we'll deliver it in a couple of days, it's no issue. But the AI, like some rigid project managers, would blow out and throw a Jeopardy up right there and send it up, all chains of command, wasting everyone's time for something that's going to be just 2 days late. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that goes to the, those kind of scenarios should be definitely fine-tuned so that it doesn't throw up too many bells and whistles. But, I think in some ways this chatbot is going to help actually escalate some of these things that a Scrum Master would have trouble with. Just because I think the leaders love these flashy tools. Like if it's on a dashboard, it's going to catch their mind space and their eye. So, depending on how you integrate this chatbot, it could really help out in just radiating the status or the risks of a project.
Well, still, if you're doing something with an assistant, it will still not report something unless you actually put it in the system. So, if you're not tracking things in the system, it can't report anything from paper.
Yeah, that's true. So, we'll get into it later, but my thought on virtual advisors or chatbots is it's a really interesting way for a leader to get information on demand. So typically when leaders get information, it's through like a weekly or bi-weekly program status report. And so there's always a lag there, especially if, something that they could help with needs attention. So, the companies that know how to interface with these new tools, they're the ones that are gonna, get the value out of it. So yeah, there has to be some training though to show people, this is the best way to leverage a virtual assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, wanted to get this slide on here to just talk about and call out some AI first product strategies. In terms of, crafting a vision with AI at the forefront. I'm starting to see this trend, but I'm sure it'll increase, from here on out. But this idea of having an AI product first vision and incorporating that into a mission statement, just researching for this slide, I found this retail banking quote where they call that, we would love to develop this AI-based, customer assistance system where we could resolve, customer issues with high level of relevancy accuracy, and availability. And this idea of automating the learning loop so that, we can scale this out to, 10 plus million customer queries per day. So in terms of like customer service, I think this is going to have a huge impact, and it'll just amplify the quality of service customers are getting. So that's the positive spin to it. I mean, there are downsides that I see from that. I think it's going to displace some people like in those jobs. So, but yeah, what do you guys think here? Are you guys seeing motivation on your management side to craft AI into your product visions? All right, well, we'll keep it going. So, in terms of vision, strategy, definitely, I see AI, helping not keep tabs, but helping report on, business metrics, KPIs, OKRs. And for the last year and a half, I've seen companies kind of shift towards OKRs and KPIs, but they don't quite get there and leverage the value of them. So, what we're thinking at IBC is that we can build these OKR and KPI aware chatbots so that, someone that's in an RTE role or a solution trained engineer role could, more easily share that information. And you don't have those bottlenecks of waiting until a scrum of scrums or a system demo, to make sure you're on track, right? In terms of the design, we're starting to think about this internally at IBC, leveraging all this unstructured data and building a data engineering practice where we're thinking in terms of building data products that feed the models we want to train. So, having that mentality of there's value in this data, but if we don't crunch that data, sanitize it, and make it easy for our models to train on, then we're not going to see that value. So the idea here is when we're thinking about design, we want to enable the training of models through the building of data products. So that should help us scale out and build products faster. And then on the execution side, the building of products, whether they're AI centric or not, we definitely see AI, augmenting or amplifying leadership's ability to make decisions on product behavior, because there's going to be this chat assistant or virtual assistant that's trained on your product, and in terms of status and the management of risks, this chatbot, has that information, and you won't have to wait till like a status meeting or a program management meeting to get the status of, where are we, and what are the risks that you're seeing. So, given that scenario, do you guys see any drawbacks with AI being pushed to your product management execution level? Do you guys sense anything that any drawbacks from pulling in all this new tech? We'll get into it later.
Are you suggesting that this becomes a part of our work management tools?
Yeah, that's the idea. Like we've got a bunch of project management data, and we've got contextual data in Confluence, and we're going to use that data to feed and train our open AI model to build a virtual advisor. So, in terms of, how does that make its way onto the product management side?
Okay.
I've got a slide here where and this is kind of the vision here. Someone like a Scrum Master or product owner will have access to the virtual advisor. Leadership will have access to it. But in terms of a Scrum Master, the mundane things like sprint progress, identifying bottlenecks, helping radiate metrics up to management. These are all things that a virtual advisor for a product could enhance.
But what I'm thinking is, why would wouldn't it be the natural path for the existing work management tool to incorporate that functionality to existing tools, right? So, for example, we use this tool called Agility, which is used to be known as version 1 before, and they have a feature called forecasting. So based on all the data that they have for the team and for the art, they can forecast, the tool can forecast what are the chances for this art or for this team to finish the work in the next so many days, whatever you put the criteria in. So I'm thinking they would probably have these features included, or that would be the natural next step for the existing tools to get this functionality incorporated and enhance it further.
Yeah, I don't have anything against those products, but for example, that forecasting capability in digital.ai or version 1, I've seen those models, and they're limited with the data that's in their walled garden. So what we're suggesting here is we take all of the company data that's in Office 365, the data that's in Confluence, Jira, or any other. It could be digital.ai itself or version 1. We collect all that data, and we cleanse it and make it ready to be input and trained within our OpenAI model. So it's going to be a better trained model to make suggestions or predictive insights. But and they haven't done it yet, so I'm sure they're working on it as well. But when you're in these walled gardens, so you kind of have to. You're kind of limited with the kind of data that you can see there. So if there's an embedded chatbot within an Atlassian product, probably the only data you're going to allow it to have access to is the data it has in its cloud instance, right? It's not going to have access to data from Office 365 or a Microsoft Teams meeting where there's a lot of valuable data in those products, because that's where the teams are having their technical discussions or things like that. So that's the vision, right? This is to create a model based off of a varied data set. But you have a good point. I bet digital.ai and Atlassian, I bet they're thinking about creating virtual assistants or virtual team members inside their products themselves.
Yeah,
that's a good call out.
That seems like a natural next step.
Yeah, I think so. So that's why they call it an AI race. So whoever can build the most functional thing in the quickest amount of time is going to get the market share. But in terms of an AI product delivery approach, anyone here that's been working in the Agile space or knows Scaled Agile is going to feel comfortable with this. So I've just rephrased it in generic terminology, but basically ideating and doing the research on building an MVP that you want to go for is going to be the approach. And you can't really afford to not do this in an incremental Agile way, because you want to get your idea out there, and you want to get some customer feedback as soon as possible. So we're taking that approach, and we're going to launch something very soon before the end of the summer. So everyone that's attending this will get invited to do some beta testing for us, and you guys will have access to it by attending today. But okay, let me pause on this screen. We previewed it a little bit, so I did limit it to just the Scrum Master, product person, and leadership, but essentially your engineering and QA engineers are going to have access to this as well. What do you guys think about that idea? How do you foresee AI helping or hindering product management?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think it will be definitely helpful, right? Because I do a lot of portfolio management and other things. I just go in different places, get the data, and do some kind of reporting. So maybe AI will help us, right? To get the finance report from this thing, and it probably bring the in consolidated view, right? That AI model will help.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Because
so in terms of leveraging that,
I spend what is our budget, target, actuals, and compare and variances, things like that. If I tell AI get me the variance and give me the ETC, so maybe it will give me in quick manner, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the idea here. So for leadership, I think this will really be a tool that leadership will like, because going to a dashboard is there's this idea of getting information overload. So the capability to just ask a specific question to a bot that's been trained and get a specific response back is first of all, that's really on demand, which is a very cool capability. But the idea there is, I don't have to go to a dashboard, or I don't have to wait for a progress deck, PowerPoint deck that's going to be presented to me every 2 Fridays. I can get project status and status on milestones on demand. And, because it's on demand and available to everybody, the whole team can do that as well. So this idea of waiting until the next daily stand-up or the next scrum of scrums to report something, a tool like this is going to enhance the ability to understand exactly when a risk is encountered, right? If people are updating their Jira tickets specifically, the chatbot can consume that data and make an assessment and provide an insight. So I think that's the crux of this whole thing. Teams still have to manage and be really diligent about updating their status in your various project management tools. But if it's done right, it's going to really help alleviate bottlenecks, is our theory. Any other thoughts there? Does anyone feel like this is not helpful or too gimmicky? Or do you see this capability helping move a project forward?
I think you might have a problem with acceptance. You have people that have been doing it one way for so long, and they're going to sit there and say, what's that going to do for me? And you have to be able to sell
right.
it to them.
Yeah.
It's hard to change people.
No, it is. We're all change agents, if we're working in a scaled agile context.
Well,
so yeah, we'll see some pushback there for sure.
I'm going to say the funny thing when working on AI, you get, you're building a Terminator. So
right.
Because actually, you look at it, because as you create AI, you also cut jobs. I'm serious, because I've been doing automation projects for the last 8 years, and the whole thing is to cut payroll, and the automation cuts payroll too. So
that was my thought
there's always that
exactly.
fear.
Yeah, that was my thought exactly. Especially the middle management is the one that I'm thinking who does most of this reporting between the teams and the leadership. All these capabilities would kind of minimize their responsibilities, and we can we are probably headed in that direction of having removing a lot of middle management from the organizations.
No, I mean, we can do a lot of manual work that we can, AI can do for us, but at least the quality checks and some of reconciliations, numbers, those things we have to do by ourselves, right? Like the quality checks. I mean, it's more of to make sure that things are correct.
Yeah, that's I hear the sentiment of, yeah, this management could see these tools and think, oh, this gives me a free pass to cut funding for management or the hiring of like a product person. But ideally, I was really careful with the items I put on this deck. I don't think these tools are going to be a replacement for really good leadership. So, if you're a manager and you've got domain expertise, I mean, you're still going to be in a great position to lead your teams or your organization towards better execution. And so that's kind of how I view these virtual assistants, as they're here to amplify our roles as leaders. But yeah, I'm with you. I could see a lot of pushback and resistance. If you already play the role of Scrum Master or product person.
But there is no role for Scrum Master in Safe 6, right? They call the team coach.
They're synonyms. The word Scrum Master is still there, but yeah, I mean, if you're a Scrum Master, you're essentially a coach. Yeah, I prefer that word better because it means you're a coach/leader. But yeah, I don't view these tools as a leadership replacement. They're there to amplify what you already do and free you up to focus on mitigating bottlenecks. But yeah, it remains to be seen. But that's our vision here for training these models. So okay, just really quickly, I had to boil this down into four high-level bullet points on how specifically are we going to build this virtual assistant. Well, like I mentioned earlier, it's really the crux of this is training these models. So when you're training an open AI model, your goal is to provide the data to help the model understand and generate a human-based response. So, if you're training a highly intelligent computer program, to comprehend and respond to different situations, that capability has been enhanced by OpenAI because they provide access to their OpenAI model. Once you've set up a free account, they actually give you some free tokens to train your own custom model. So when you're training these models for, let's say the domain is product or project management, the series of steps is we want to gather a good amount of data related to the company's project management. And this could be anything from documents in Confluence, conversation threads in Slack, project statuses in Jira or version 1. So once you've collected that data, you basically have to cleanse it and remove it of anything that's related to intellectual property. But typically teams have people like data engineers that can do that quickly. And our aim here is to have a diverse range of data that represents the various projects at a company. So once you have that data, you can feed it into the models through a format OpenAI calls prompts and responses. So a prompt is basically the questions or descriptions a person might feed it in the chatbot. And the responses are the model's generated response based off of that prompt. So yeah, that's the idea here. We want to define our use cases on the product or project management side. We want to cleanse that data, give it relevant training data, and then feed it into the OpenAI engine as a prompt and response. So, at a high level, I kind of broke this down into 3 steps. We've got organizational data that should be cleansed. And, essentially there's 2 kinds of data: structured data from a database and unstructured data that's in like a design document or a conversation thread in Confluence. You pre-process that data, and that feeds your models in OpenAI. And after training this with a big enough data set, it'll start to be able to respond to you and give you actionable insights. So it's those predictive signals that would feed whatever application you're building. So in this case, it would be a virtual assistant. And then outside of that, I wanted to provide a short list of sites that show you how to train your own model. So I'll post this deck to everyone that signed up, so you guys can click through this and see. Basically, a lot of the articles I use to understand how to do this are on this deck. But that's the first cut of this presentation. We're going to have additional ones where we present and beta test the actual virtual assistant we've been talking about. But the plan is to use GPT-3 to train on, and we're going to leverage the predictive signals from a chatbot within ServiceNow. So we are targeting ServiceNow and Atlassian as well. But any thoughts there?
ServiceNow. I took that LinkedIn training too. How about that?
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
This is Fred Carter.
Yeah.
Now,
Hey, Fred.
why are why did we decide to use GPT-3, sir? Isn't that limited?
It isn't.
Well, GPT-3, it's more responsive, and that just means it's faster. So GPT 3.5 is basically GPT-3 with a bunch of, it's already been trained to respond to, basic queries. So if you want a more base model, you can start with GPT-3 and just train it on your domain, and it won't have any of the training that 3.5 has, 3.5. GPT-4, I played around with it. It's the tokens for that are more expensive, and it's not, because it's been trained on so many, like 1 trillion data points, the performance of it is noticeably slower. So, for this first MVP cut, we selected GPT-3 because it's more cost effective and it performs faster.
And who is your audience for this particular solution?
We would love to present this to anyone that's in product management. So Scrum Masters, product owners.
I'm sorry, I meant who is your who's your customer? What?
Oh, our customer.
Who is your persona here?
Yeah, anyone that's using like Atlassian or ServiceNow, because the plan is to integrate this bot into like a ServiceNow as a ServiceNow plugin and also as a Jira plugin. So basically, it's wide open because most companies are using Jira or ServiceNow. But in general, anyone that's tracking a project, so it could be a small company or a larger enterprise.
Is this any project, or is this a safe-based project or agile?
No, it's any project, because the data we're training the model against, there's no safe like tagging at all in there. So it's really just at the end of the day, the performance of the bot depends on what data you train it on. So we're not targeting safe specifically.
Okay.
But yeah, great question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You gotta go back, I guess, a couple days on LinkedIn somewhere, but someone put up a video just joking. GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT, all the way up. And when you get to the 5, the person's dancing real fast. but as you go back, they're dancing slower and slower and slower, all the way back to one just barely moving.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, things are evolving fast. So I know GPT-5 and 6, 7, and 8 are in the works. So
yeah, well,
but yeah.
I mean, as everything goes up, as the bandwidth speeds are going up, as fiber's getting installed, everything's more instantaneous than running over copper. You have immense data on the internet that it can scrub in minimal time. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So the idea is, we just want to train. We want to build this bot and see just how well it performs against the project data we do have. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Hey Deo, how's it going?
Hey, good. Thanks, Paul. Great presentation. Can you all hear me? Okay.
You're cutting up there, Deo. I didn't catch your question.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about how the functionality works, but I was just going to make sure you can hear me correctly. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, we got you.
Okay, good. Right. So this is going to be more of a chatbot, right? Built on an existing work management tool like Jira.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, we want to integrate it so that it can be trained on your existing data. Yeah.
Got it. And for now, I mean, how this work with, and I know you guys is to kind of, getting some design, evaluations to finalize what flow is this going to look like. But just out of curiosity, is this more like, asking the chatbot, can you tell me these, more like, forecast the project in the next 2 months, how are we going to perform for budget resource or whatever? Is it that kind of interactive kind of mode, just like we use ChatGPT today?
Yeah, it's going to be an on-demand type of thing. So the interface is a conversational interface. So the kinds of questions we think we're going to have are, asking, how is project XYZ doing? And, that spits out a response. And, as maybe a product owner, I can ask the question, why? Why are we ahead of schedule or behind schedule? Or, why didn't we meet this milestone on this date? And so, to get the model to respond in a quote unquote correct way, you just have to feed it enough examples or prompts, prompt and response pairs to train it.
I would want to take advantage of full AI, right? And not only, wonder why is it on schedule or not, but the really great value is, what do you recommend we do to get it back on track? Have the AI answer that somehow. Is that possible?
Yeah, that I'm sure it is. But I think that's why, I still foresee the Scrum Masters and the leadership of the product coming up with, okay, this is where we're at. We don't want to. I don't think the intent, or that's not our intent, is to not replace someone that has the domain expertise and the awareness to steer the product in a different direction. But no, I agree with you. I'm sure that's coming down. I don't know how soon that'll be here, but.
No, I wasn't meaning to replace them and the people asking those questions are, the management. I'm thinking of the role of the Scrum Master, maybe, for example, as one persona, querying the AI for these kinds of things to help him or her, present.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the use case we're going for.
Sure.
That's the intent. We want to augment and give Scrum Masters additional information to have a more effective, like daily stand-up, for example, or a more effective backlog refinement. So that's the vision.
Yeah, or more effective in the true progress is measured by your demos, right? And
a more effective system demo, definitely.
Yes.
Or something as complex as like PI planning, where you're basically earmarking the work for the next 3 months,
Mhm.
making that PI planning more effective
Yeah.
in terms of interconnecting the dependencies in between the work items. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the idea. Well, guys, everyone that RSVP'd will get an invite to a beta test our product once we launch it. But okay, Dea, did you have another question? Yeah, what's up?
I mean, just one final question. Thanks for clarifying. It's going to be more like a chatbot kind of interaction. But again, I think someone also asked the question about, is this going to replace or like a reinvention of the existing work management tool like Jira? Because I know they will be thinking in this direction as well, to kind of incorporate something like this in the existing product. But I think, this solution, this virtual advisor, kind of have a overarching overview of all the data of the organization we're talking about. So I think this is going to be more robust. I guess my next question here is, how is this going to like give it the dashboard as well, or you can kind of, configure on this chatbot to do other things for you other than just the chatbot interaction? Or it's just going to be just the chatbot for now as an MVP?
Yeah, for the MVP, it'll just be a chatbot. So I know on this right-hand column, I had on-demand reports, but yeah, I'll probably rephrase that and say on-demand status. So we're envisioning just a very conversational, flow.
Okay, gotcha.
And there's no generation of like line charts or pie charts or a dashboard. But yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, you're welcome. Kumar, what?
Yeah, so it's a general question, like this ChatGPT is part of the OpenAI, right? Is a product of
yes,
OpenAI.
it is. Yeah.
So who owns the OpenAI? It's not, it's a Microsoft, or it's which company is OpenAI? Is a company, or it's a technology?
They started out as a nonprofit company, and then I think when Elon Musk left, they started more towards, how can we apply this and sell it? So, all these copywriting companies that generate copyright, copy for you, they're all using GPT on the back end. So they've been generating revenue for quite a bit now. And so them just rolling out ChatGPT, just gave them a lot of notoriety and publicity.
So ChatGPT is a technology, right? And then Microsoft using the ChatGPT to develop the Copilot and things like that.
Yeah, right. So definitely because they own GitHub, and so yeah, GitHub is using a flavor of the GPT engine for GitHub Copilot.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think Microsoft owns them. They've just invested, a lot of money in them, and
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And it is still open, so you can sign up for an account and start training these against your data.
Okay.
But
yeah,
okay,
this the AI is the going forward is the so we need to learn the AI otherwise to survive.
I will say there is an art form to interacting with a generative model like ChatGPT. So yeah, I think that's an actual skill set you have to you got to improve on it, and like with anything, if you don't practice how to interact with it, you won't get the most relevant answers.
Right.
Prompt engineering.
Yeah, we'll have more when we do the beta launch, and we'll get everybody invited to that. That's that RSVP.
Okay.
Well, I think we're short on time. We're at time, so I want to thank everybody here, and I wish everyone a happy Monday and a great rest of the week.
Yeah, if we don't talk, have a great Memorial Day. Yeah, if we don't talk,
Yes, thank you.
Take care,
thank you, everyone.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.